Well, listen, we're here to announce some significant steps in assuring the public safety on the Seward Highway. Our mission really is to reduce the accident and injury rates and zero fatalities. That's what we'd like to see for Alaskans. And, in the 90s, I had the honor of serving this area and being a part of the Bird to Gird widening and making improvements then. In 2006, the Seward Highway was named a safety corridor, and we began at that point as a state. We embarked on a three-pronged safety initiative focused on education, engineering, and enforcement. And today we're going to talk about all three of those, but we've also been hearing recently, because safety is still a huge issue on the Seward Highway, we've been hearing from the Girdwood community, Girdwood 2020, as well as Anchorage residents and legislators who travel the road. And of course, we've just lost several people in the last few weeks. So this initiative, the safety initiative, is timely, and we're here to fill in some details of how we're going to move that forward. I'm going to turn first to Commissioner Joe Masters to outline some of the enforcement efforts as well as some of the education efforts first. So, Commissioner Masters. Thank you, Governor. Thank you.
As the governor said, Seward Highway opened its safety corridor in 2006, and between 2006 and 2008, we were looking at other highway strategies and enforcement strategies that could augment and provide the enforcement components that are necessary for these safety corridors. And we wanted to make sure some of these were in place before we had safety corridors that were put in place elsewhere in the state. So by 2009, one of those strategies was to form and start the Alaska Bureau of Highway Patrol. As part of that initial formation, we had three teams that we started, three highway safety teams. Most safety teams were in Fairbanks, Palmer, and Soldotna. By 2010, we added a fourth safety team, and that fourth safety team added two BHP troopers here at the Girdwood post, specifically to provide traffic enforcement for this area of the state, as well as particularly focus on the Seward Highway Safety Corridor itself. This safety team, as well as the safety teams from elsewhere in the state, they've done a considerable work in the safety corridor here, and I want to outline just a couple of I'm going to give you very few statistics, and this is going to be one of them, though. And that's the last 4 years in the safety corridor, they've written over 9,000 citations. They've also done 260 DUI arrests, and that's only within the safety corridor, that 30-mile stretch. In the last year alone, we arrested 100 DUI drivers and wrote 1,726 citations. The result of these efforts is that there are reductions in serious crashes within our safety corridors and all along the highways in Alaska. The reduction in serious crashes for the Seward Highway corridor alone is 38%. Also remarkable, though, is that the statewide reduction for the four safety corridors combined is an incredible 53%. The past 5 years, in regards to highway safety, the past 5 years have been the lowest on record for traffic fatalities, for traffic crashes, and also for the percentage of those crashes that involve DUI, or driving while under the influence of either alcohol or drugs. Also during the past 5 years, we've had the highest rates of voluntary seatbelt usage. And these are some pretty remarkable statistics. But this extraordinary performance and achievement is done through partnerships. And the combined impacts of enforcement, education, and engineering, as well as EMS, all come together for these achievements to occur. But as we know, as these trends are still declining, we're not to zero, and that means that we have quite a bit of work yet to do. Some of those strategies that will allow us to even bring these numbers lower are going to be outlined by Commissioner Kemp here in a few minutes. When serious crashes do occur, they often require the expertise of first responders. Fire and EMS conduct the rescues and provide medical treatment, but they must also be investigated. and they must be investigated thoroughly. And those doing this work and those responding must also be kept safe on these highways. And this often requires that we close the highways for that safety. But I'd also like to talk about a couple of other changes that will allow us to get these crash scenes and these road closures open quicker. Troopers have been reviewing their response policies and making changes. They've also been taking advantage of training as well as equipment such as robotic total station instruments that have reduced the time it takes to document scenes by about 25%. Braking metering systems that more quickly measure roadway adhesion. This information is critical for investigators and reconstructionists. BHP also just recently has began the process of procuring 2 3D laser measuring and scene mapping instruments. And these will even more quickly document scenes and ultimately open our roadways quicker. We hope to have these units deployed by April. Most Alaskans have seen our outreach efforts, public information and media campaigns targeting unacceptable driving behaviors such as dangerous driving, speeding, and driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs. We applaud the overwhelming numbers of responsible drivers that drive safely. They use the headlights at all times. They allow plenty of time to get to their destinations, give themselves adequate rest, and they drive for the road conditions. And for the drivers that you see creating unacceptable dangers, we ask drivers to use our ready report system. That's report every dangerous driver immediately, and feel free to use 911 to do that. That's the conclusion of my remarks, and I'll turn it back over to the Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I am very proud of the troopers and what you've done here. I also am very proud of the Girdwood first responders as well, from fire and EMT, and from Anchorage as well. They've done a good job at reducing in their area, reducing fatalities, reducing injuries. I'd like to turn it over as well, because we have more work to do, given people are still losing their lives and still incurring injuries along the road. I want to have Commissioner Kemp address what DOT is doing, along with Steve Horn on the engineering and education side as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Today we're going to announce a new initiative. It's an intelligent transportation system. And what it will do is use the technology available now to, again, reduce the accident risk and increase safety along our safety corridors throughout the state. To explain this, what we're going to try and do is improve the situational awareness of drivers as they go into the corridor and make it safer for them. And when we implement these new technologies, I think what we'll have is when a driver enters the Seward Highway corridor, the Sterling Highway, he's going to enter into a partnership with the Department of Public Safety and the Department of Transportation and Public Facilities, where we're going to try and shepherd that driver through to his destination in a very safe manner. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to keep him up to date with current information. We'll be using signs, cameras, weather sensors, and other technical data to help the drivers. We're going to work with our sister agency, the Department of Administration, to install more cell towers, and we're going to try and get coverage along the entire routes, and then we're thinking of things like a phone app on our 521 system and other features like that. Congruent with this, we are looking at in opening up an operations center for our highways, and this will be manned a 24/7 manned operation, and information will be flowing into that center, and then it will be distributed out to the drivers and the users of the highway. Just yesterday, when the governor announced that there would be this press conference today, I got several emails asking about the details already. And this is from truckers and other users. I mean, there's a lot of interest in bringing these corridors up to a safer rate. And one of the first things we did, we hired a new traffic coordinator, facilitator, Steve Horn. Steve was with the department for a number of years. He came back. He's an engineer. He's going to work on the safety corridors and implement these programs, and he's going to work with groups like Girdwood 2020 and other safety groups to facilitate the work that has to be done. So I'll introduce Steve and let him talk a little bit more about the details and move on.
Excuse me. You guys trade places.
Okay.
Thank you. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Steve Horn, and as Commissioner Kemp indicated, I worked with the Department of Transportation Central Region Office from 1976 until 2008, and retired in 2008. I've been doing a little consulting work since then. But I'm really pleased to be able to help out with this effort. Basically, Commissioner Kemp has hired me to facilitate and coordinate department activities within highway safety zones, focusing on the intelligent transportation systems improvements that Commissioner Kemp had made, had indicated. Now, while some of the components of the initiative may take several years to implement, work is going to begin this summer on some projects to improve safety. They're not necessarily ITS, Intelligent Transportation System improvements, but I thought folks would be interested in what's coming up. Just 4 or 5 things here. But so between Bird Point and Girdwood, that section was recently paved. There was a project that was nearly completed last summer. There's still some more shoulder rumble strips to go in there, and those will get done this summer. On the Seward Highway between Turnagain Pass and Potter Marsh, slow vehicle turnouts and passing lanes will be under construction this summer, and it'll add 5 slow vehicle turnouts at mile 75, mile 76, mile 108, mile 111, and mile 115. And those are all in sections between Ingram, before you go up to the Turnagain Pass, and the Potter Way Station. Also on the Seward Highway at mile 88, which is several miles south of the turnoff up to Girdwood, there's a safety improvement project that'll get started this summer, and it'll modify the alignment and the guardrail at that location. Basically, between 2000 and 2009, that mile 88 had 19 crashes, 3 fatal crashes with 5 fatalities. So that's one particular location that we can get to pretty quickly. Another project that probably won't be under construction this summer, but hopefully advertised this summer, will be what we call intelligent speed limit signage. And what those are, you may have seen the portable units that go out that they tell the driver how fast they're going. Well, these units will be permitted installations, and they're proposed for all of the safety corridors. We actually have 3 other safety corridors in addition to the Seward Highway. And there'll be a sign that's permanently installed, says what the speed limit is, and then right underneath the sign there'll be a dynamic message that says how fast the vehicle's going. If the vehicle's going too fast, it won't give that speed, because we don't want to encourage speeding on the highway. Just notify the driver that they're going too fast. Another item, more emergency call boxes, and this is really outside of the safety corridor, but there are sections of roadway from Turnagain Pass out to Johnson Pass and Hope, all the way up to the Sterling Y, where there is hardly any cell coverage, if any, but we do have some emergency call boxes out there. We're looking at adding more in that section. Another project, mile 85.5 avalanche warning, which is about 5 miles south of Girdwood. That project should be under construction, but no earlier than 2014, and the project will install avalanche warning and highway closure system devices. We're also, as Commissioner Kemp indicated earlier, we're looking at improving cell coverage. We're just beginning discussions with cell providers to try to partner with them to improve cell coverage so we don't need as many emergency call boxes. I think that's pretty much it as far as some specifics. Thank you.
So thank you, Steve, and commissioners too. This is an example of us recognizing the danger, listening to the community priorities, and moving. What you've heard really are, plan for more turnouts, better road alignment, more law enforcement, more cell phone coverage, better travel advisory information, a new safety corridor coordinator in Steve Horn here, avalanche warning system, an array of projects to improve the traveling public safety along the Seward Highway. So if I'll just close there and open it to some questions.